Buffs Nation, holy moly. Back at it one more time tonight. I was scheduled to go on Jason Watkins' show this evening, but they had an emergency commitment. Danny Okoye going over there to his Oklahoma Sooners. So we had to delay for another day. But I thought, hey, since I still had time scheduled out, go ahead and get on another live again and talk to the fellas, see what's on your guys' mind. I've talked to uh, a variety of people this week. I'm always having a panel on, but kind of leaving this open-ended as we've done in the last few weeks, and this has always been a lot of fun. So we'll go here for a little while, that is for sure. So be sure to hit that like when you're checking in. Let me know in the comments what's on your mind, and let's just get chatting. I wanted to start this with talking about Shedeur Sanders and his Heisman hopes. Man, I think right now we are seeing that he is the most valuable player right now in college football. This is a really great opportunity to go up against one of the other best quarterbacks in college football, in Bo Nix. And Bo Nix, man, he's playing about as perfect as you can right now. I think he's got nine touchdowns, not nine interceptions, 0 interceptions. He's been playing great ball. Obviously, Colorado is going to be his biggest test. But do I think we're 3-0 with Bo Nix at the helm? No, I don't. I think that Shedeur is making a huge case for him to win the Heisman this year, and it's not going to take a national championship for him to win the Heisman. No way. Just like it didn't take Caleb Williams taking USC to the college football playoff last year to win the Heisman. Heck, Caleb Williams taking over a USC team that was bad. Sorry, bug. With Lincoln Riley using the transfer portal, had a massive improvement this past year, went to the Pac-12 championship, lost to the back-to-back Pac-12 champs, Utah Utes. But man, having I think they won 10 games, right? Having a double-digit win year got Caleb Williams the Heisman. And that, of course, came along with putting up massive numbers. I think he threw for over 5,000 yards, right? Something like 5,300 or something. I'll look it up to be a little bit more precise here in a minute if you guys want me to. But all that to say, I think if this team wins 8 games and above, I think Shedeur is right there for being the favorite to win the Heisman, because we don't win these games without him. That is for darn sure. And if we're winning 8 games, this means we're upsetting Vegas. We're we're proving the doubters wrong into conference play. And I think, heck, I'm not really sure how all this New Year's Six bowl stuff goes, but I would think that if Colorado gets to that 8-win threshold, at least, you want to be putting them in a New Year's Six bowl against somebody, right? The eyeballs are going to be there, and I think it's going to be great stuff. So anyways, let me get to the comments. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got Crypto, we got Daniel Fenning in here, Darius P. Awesome. Okay. I'll just start from the top and we'll just get to it. Crypto X on Omarion Miller, X Factor, but they need to bring Antonio Gates Jr. in from Michigan State in the portal. Top priority type of talent. Oh, man. Okay, well, you're breaking some news to me, Crypto, because, I didn't even know that Antonio Gates Jr. existed. So this is pretty cool because Tim Brewster, I'm sure you know this, he coached Antonio Gates. So let me take a look at this. Antonio Gates Jr. going from Michigan State, and it would be nice to get some Michigan State guys back here. So, second-year receiver, man, 6'2", 195 pounds. Love to see that, and I'm sure he's got some great hands. I'm sure he's got great leaping ability and athleticism. I wonder if he was a two-sport athlete in high school as well. But let's see right now so far. He's got one reception, but dang, a 45-yard touchdown. That's what it was. So I'm going to need to look into him more. But that's a great insight. Something to keep on, especially with now the news coming out of Mel Tucker looking to well, MSU's looking to get rid of Mel Tucker. This is going to be an opportunity for us to, take some of their recruits or take some of their players, in the transfer portal. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to adjust this ring light, and it's like the cheapest one possible because I would just rather spend money on other things for the channel. It's like $5, but I mean, it's getting the job done. It's getting the job done. But Omari and Miller, let's talk about this. X factor. With Travis Hunter out, we're going to see some new things on offense. We're going to see Javon Antonio featured, I think, for the first time. Would I be surprised if we see a guy like Omari Miller out there? Absolutely not. And Omarion can do it. Same with Adam Hopkins. Got great size, great speed. And like I was saying on the Big Dog and Dave show with Big Dog Chico earlier today, is that, I mean, Sean Lewis hasn't put this in the offense yet, but we've seen it from Kent State running these two-back sets. We got the ability to run these two-back sets now with Alt McCaskill coming back. I mean, imagine the stress it's going to put on defense when we come in having a two-back set. They got to decide, okay, are they going to go with 5-6 DBs, or are they going to try and stack the box with some linebackers? Depending on the defensive substitutions that they give, I mean, we could split Dillon out wide. We could have Alton come out for a route outside the backfield. There's a lot of different things that Sean Lewis can be doing. And I think we're going to see some really interesting wrinkles starting this week. And we'll see new ones as well going up against USC. Daniel, good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I love doing this. This is why you guys see me on here multiple times a day throughout the week, every day of the week. I love doing this. So it still feels like a dream, man, that you guys want to talk bus football with me. So thank you for tuning in. Darius, USC did not have the schedule that CU has this year. You are right on the money with this. The Pac-12 is at the strongest it's ever been. Especially when you're looking at it as the era of the 12 teams, not the Pac-10 or the Pac-8. We got 8-9 ranked teams. Really the only terrible team that we have this year is Stanford. Obviously I don't think Cal and Arizona State are big threats, but they at least provide some sort of baseline and threshold, I think, for this conference. And I mean, everybody else outside of that is a contender in this conference. Believe that. So it's wonderful. Daniel saying, I think he wins it if the Buffs win 10 games. If Shedeur is going to win the Heisman, man, that's if the Buffs win 10 from going 1-11 to 10 games with the schedule we got, like Darius was just throwing up on here. Well, not throwing up, but I threw it up on the chat. Anyways, I'm just digging myself a hole here, right? I'll stop talking. Anyways, but yeah, how can you not give the Heisman to Shedeur Sanders? Because again, we don't win these games. We're not 3-0. Really, if we don't have anybody else at quarterback. Are we 3-0 with Michael Penix or Caleb Williams? Sure. Are we 3-0 with anybody else? Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I think Shedeur has been a perfect fit for what we got going on. And, we're playing with house money going into conference play. I think we have the ability to, surprise anybody and to continue to upset Vegas. Alt McCaskill, I think that's what you mean. McLean was in a white jersey today, or I need you to clarify on that, Aurelius, if you're talking about Alt McCaskill or Cormani McLean was in a white jersey today. Now, I heard that McCaskill got rid of his non-contact or semi-contact yellow jersey. We'll just have to we'll have to see. But I think that I don't know who the starting running back will be, but it's very clear that they weren't going to have Alton come back until he was ready to be depended on. And so I think we're going to see a lot of him on Saturday. That's for sure. Paul Hardwick coming in here. 8 is an insult. 10 wins for show. Hey, inject that into my freaking veins, please, because if we're getting to 10 wins, man, that means um we are upsetting some big time programs. We're upsetting Oregon or USC or Utah, inject that into my veins. And I think again, as long as we have two, as long as we have Shedeur, even with the injuries or guys coming back or guys, still finding their footing, no matter what, as long as we have Shedeur Sanders behind center, we are going to be in every game. That is for sure. And it's just, fitting in, putting in those last puzzle pieces, every game. That's what the game is going to be about. So inject that into my veins. Buffs overload. Dude, I need to get back to you. If you're on Twitter, man, hit me up on Twitter. That way I can get you on the show here within the next few weeks, right? That would be awesome. So hit me up on Twitter. As you can tell, I'm all about collaborating. I'm all about sharing the love and just growing the community that we got here. When you come to my channel, I don't want it to just be about me. It is David Talks Buffs, but I want to talk Buffs with a lot of other people. So, I want to expose you guys to all sorts of different voices, people from different backgrounds and expertise and perspectives and channels of all sizes. So send me a DM on Twitter or just tag me in a post and then I'll send you a DM on Twitter. You inspired me to start my own. Holy moly. Well, hey, that means a lot. There are YouTubers that I've had on here that inspired me to do my channel. And, man, it's been a long time since I've shared this, but yeah, I started my channel, man, when I was on a little bit of a medical leave from work here in the winter. And, I just needed something to be consistent with, to stay motivated, to stay positive and things like that. And, this is, I did not see it becoming what it is right now. So definitely get out there. Definitely hit me up on Twitter and let's get a discussion going. Would love to introduce you to some of our other content creators as well. And I'll give Buffs Overload one more shout out. I just dropped a video today about my top 10 Buffs content creators. You made the list. Oh my God. Thank you so much. That that really means a lot. Again, you guys have so many different places to go and talk Buffs. And, it means the world that you guys check in with me. 71 people in here, man. Are you kidding me? Make sure to hit that like, let's keep supporting. But again, let me know where you guys are all watching from. Shout out to Atlanta, shout out to Dallas, shout out to Houston, shout out to New York City. Those are my big 4 markets here at the David Talks Buffs channel. Shout out to New Zealand. We had New Zealand checking in earlier today. We've had people from all continents, all over the world, except Antarctica. I'm waiting on Antarctica. All right, gonna get to it. Aurelius is saying, watch Cormani McLean play receiver this week. Okay. That could be something in which we provide a wrinkle that they haven't seen. That could be that could that could be some interesting stuff. Cormani hasn't been playing corner for very long, and he's going to be a great corner, by the way. I want to say this for anyone that's freaking out right now about Cormani McLean not being on the field. Just do this with me. I'm never going to get myself too bent out about how somebody's freshman year, goes. Freshman year, 18, a lot to adjust, living on your own for the first time, college game. I think a lot of people expect Cormani to be, in a sense, that next Travis. Travis is one of one. Travis is one of one, just like Prime is. And, he's one of those guys that was the number 1 overall prospect for all the positions is coming out. With Cormani, it was kind of, there's a lot of variance, and Cormani is very good and he's going to be very good. But I think Buffs fans, don't be freaking out. Trust me, when he gets out there, he's going to be fully trusted and he's going to be ready to go. And Coach Prime and this staff, man, they understand the long game, and they're not going to throw guys out there before they're ready. So, and again, guys like Carr Stoutmeyer have been here for a while longer. So, you really only see the freshmen that have kind of been here earlier have some impact right now. But yeah, I'd love to see Cormani get a little bit of work this week, some rotation. But again, if we don't see it, I'm not concerned. David talks Buffs, and I'm not one of those guys that goes out here saying, I heard this, I heard that, I have all these sources. No. I'm a guy in his bedroom talking Buffs out here in Colorado. But just know that I'm not concerned. So neither should you. Dan Fleming, Shedeur, he's more clutch than any other quarterback. Man, absolutely. The way that he has performed in such big games has been, it really is Brady mode. We don't see that very often. And man, let's just take a step back and just say, holy moly, I can't believe a quarterback of this level is playing here with the Buffs. And man, the Buffs, man, I love to see that they're the biggest show in college football right now. And I mean, that's why I think, everybody's staying. This is a 2-year plan. Let's go from 1-11 to a national title, right? I think that's the goal. Let's let Coach Prime and these guys carve out a legendary path for themselves. I mean, Nick Saban can't say he went from 1-11 to a national championship in 2 years, right? Shedeur can't, Shedeur can't. What? Shedeur has the opportunity to break every single season school passing record, and career passing record here at the school. I mean, I see number 2 and 12 being retired here if all goes according to plan. But I think you'll see Sean Lewis still here next year. I think, and then, you might see coaches take some other jobs and things like that. But everybody should be getting raises this year. I think Coach Prime, they're going to get him extended. There's too much going on. You don't let anything like this go or you take it for granted. This fan base knows that, being in the dumpster for however many years, you don't just let this go. I got to get on with you, Dave. Buffs fan since 1986. See, and that's, again, this is what we need to talk about. So hit me up on Twitter, Buffs Overload. Tremaine Young in the house. Thank you so much. Let me know what's on your mind. I always appreciate you coming in here supporting all the time. The Raw Podcast. Man, I'll need to check out your podcast. I'm ready to see the running backs, Alt McCaskill and Cavassier smoke. I'm ready for a little bit more of that thunder too, man. I'll tell you that. Alton, fantastic vision. He's a guy that can do everything for you. He can pass protect. He's got elite vision. He's got good speed. He's got power. He's got shiftiness. He's got hands. And I love hands. So he's got all that. Cavassier smoke. Man, I'm hoping we do see more of him. I haven't really gotten any answers as to why we haven't seen him on the field much yet, because he's a very talented back, and we need some of that thunder. We need some of that, that power, getting those tough yards. But I think Alton, if we see some more Cavassier smoke, if we've just been saving him for conference play a little bit, I'm not really sure. But I know McCaskill is a game changer. He's going to add a dynamic to this offense. And yes, with Travis out, it provides the opportunity for people to step up. It provides the opportunity to throw some different looks at Oregon that they can't prepare for, because our offense is going to look different, and we got guys coming back. Same with the defense. So I think Oregon should be favored coming into this game. Absolutely. Do I think that they should be favored by 21 points? Absolutely not. No way. This is going to be a much closer game than people anticipate. This team plays the best when their backs are up against the wall, when the moment is at its biggest. They don't shy away from that. We know that. So this is going to be a dogfight. And, we're going to have to play our most complete game possible. And we're going to need not 53 guys, but the same expression. We're going to need everybody suited up to play mistake free football. Kieran, Star Drifter, thanks for the consistent live streams. I always listen when I'm working. Well, thank you so much, Kieran. That really means a lot. And I mean, uh, I hope that I can make everyone's day just a little bit better. Coming on here is always a highlight for me. So, and especially since the season started. So, there's so many things going on in people's life. You never really know what people are dealing with or going through. And what's great is that opportunities like this, following a team right now with Coach Prime and the Buffs, I mean, there's just a lot of positive energy out there. There's a lot of success to really cherish and to enjoy. And we get to see, with college football, man, we get to see people, young men, have, some big stage success, for the first time. And, that's always really cool to see. So, I love just being part of it. It means a lot. Darius, Oregon, USC, Oregon State, Washington State, Utah, and UCLA are all ranked and all play the Buffs. How many wins do you expect from those teams? So I'll go back to my preseason prediction. I have us beating Washington State and UCLA in those. Going into the year, I had us losing to Oregon, USC, Oregon State, and Utah. But again, as a caveat, I don't think any of these games are going to be blowouts. I was trying to provide as objective as a take on it as I could at the time. That's kind of what I'm sticking with. But as I've said, just because Oregon is favored does not mean that there aren't ways and scenarios in which the Buffs, can't win this game. They absolutely can. And I think that even though I predicted them to start 3-0, going into week 4, they have exceeded my expectations in some categories. And so I think that, again, like I'm feeling a lot better about this USC game than maybe I felt 2 months ago. Am I a little bit more worried about our Oregon State game right now, which is how physical and dominant they are at the lines? Yes. Has Washington State come out and surprised me a little bit, with how they're still playing? Yes. But I think every single one of these games is winnable. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's going to be fun to see kind of where our team grows. I'm very happy that we play our most physical teams like Oregon State and Utah at the end of the season, because I think with our line play, with the front seven, all that, the defense, you'll see them continue to gel and play better football as the season progresses. I think you're going to see a lot of improvement with this team from week 4 on, just like I think we've seen a lot of improvement with this team from week 1, even through, this last week against Colorado State. There are some things that we need to clean up, but, there's still been things that we've been able to see them grow in and do. Now it's about putting it together more consistently now that we're kind of going up in the level of play that we're facing every week. So, man, I feel great about this team, man. It's awesome. It is awesome. And Raw, you bring this up. You're right. Buffs must get that run game going and not be one-dimensional. Absolutely. And I think Alt McCaskill is he's a big reason of why I see this run game improving. Van Wells playing this week is going to be a huge improvement on the offensive line. Will be interesting to see who we start at the guard positions. I want to see more Jack Wiltie in there, please. Wiltie did great against TCU. I want to see him in there. I don't know why he hasn't been in there. So, But if we can add some different dimensions to this offense, poof, man, you know, we just might need our defense to only make a few key stops, every game. That is for sure. Tremaine Young. Hey, David, why does the Colorado offense motion or shift formations, do something creative to make the defense guess? Why don't they? This is a great question, because I've wondered this as well, why there hasn't been more motion. If you guys are just starting to watch film, and I'm not a genius by any means, if you've watched my film sessions, they're definitely more, just a work in progress. But motions, they help you get a read on what kind of coverages we're looking at. More man to man? Are we looking at a zone? Does something uh, does a defensive formation shift to where then it gives you the numbers for a certain run play where you have the advantage on our end? So that is something that I have wondered. I think some of it has to do with playing at a fast pace and in rhythm. Like when we're playing up tempo, there really isn't the opportunity to be doing that a lot, because what you're wanting to take advantage of is snapping the ball before the defense has any time to iron out their communication. Again, I think why we had so much success against TCU was because we were up tempo the whole game, and you saw that some of our big plays came from the TCU defense not being lined up correctly, not understanding who has what zone correctly, or where these handoffs and responsibility are going to be. And, it made Shedeur's life really easy. So that's one of the advantages that you can get just going up tempo. But I think you're right. This can provide some more shifting. It can provide some more advantages for us in Shedeur, understanding what exactly he's looking at. And especially if we do have to slow down the pace a little bit. So I think the other thing that we've brought up before too, and a lot of the guys that I've had on the channel, has been the fact that, I think both Charles Kelly, Sean Lewis, Coach Prime, they are saving some different things for conference play. That is for darn sure. We're not wanting to give away too much of what we're doing. And I think it was really big that with CSU coming in and playing probably the best ball that they will play all year. This past weekend was their Super Bowl. That is for sure. The fact that we could beat them kind of playing vanilla schemes, in my opinion, was really important. Now, do I think that we kind of threw them that different wrinkle of involving Michael Harrison in the tight end a little bit more? Yes. To make sure we got that win. Yes. I do wonder if they were hoping to hold that a little bit more for conference play, but it is what it is. I think Michael Harrison's going to be used more, even with Travis Hunter out, man. I really do feel like this offense has a lot of different weapons. And again, without Oregon having the opportunity to really see what we've done on offense without Travis Hunter outside of one half of football, there's a lot of opportunity for us to really provide, them with some looks that they've never seen before. And that's like really exciting. Aurelius coming in here from East Oakland, California. Prime Sports Media, who I'm going to have on the show again here soon. He is, out in the Bay Area as well. So really appreciate you tuning in. We got Phoenix, Arizona in the house. We have Orlando. Man, we got all the time zones. This is great. We got Dolores checking in, seeing how Tremaine's doing. So I love this. And Tremaine is in Dallas, again, one of our top markets. And that means a lot. Charlie, Las Vegas. I love Las Vegas. Went there for Summer League this past year, second time going. And man, it was a lot of fun. Love Las Vegas. Los Angeles. I love Los Angeles too. Looks like you work in production, video production, film, maybe. So that's really cool. We need to get you on field. We need to get you on field doing some of this documentary stuff, for the Buffs. Nicholas Braxton, one of my day ones, is here. Let me know in the chat what's on your mind. That would be great. Where is Javon Antonio? Where has he been? He has been hurt. We saw him a little bit in the TCU game. He forced that fumble for Dylan Edwards. in the first half, because his arm kind of, hit his calf. I think he might have gotten a little banged up on that play. I don't think we've really seen him since that first half at TCU. Again, y'all correct me if my memory is incorrect, but I think we will see him back this week from everything that, we've heard here on the channel with people typing in and hopping in with what they're hearing. So, man, I'm excited to see Javon Antonio again. This is a guy that 6'4". I mean, he has the opportunity to really do some big things this week. And again, with this team, we've seen guys have their moments and show out every week. We've had our top players, of course, perform like the stars that they are, but getting these wins, we've had other guys, step up and have their moments. For instance, this past week, Michael Harrison was one of those guys. I'm so excited to see who those players are going to be this week. Real big pip, I believe. Man, nothing is impossible with this team. That is for sure. We got a fantastic coaching staff. They get these guys' minds right. They're going to make the adjustments. I mean, you heard Shiloh talk about it this week. He is so confident about this defense going into their matchup against Oregon that they will clean up what they need to clean up. And again, this is a complex defense that they're running, just like the offense is, it's not just a simple offense they're running with Sean Lewis either, and I think, we've needed to kind of give this defense time to iron things out. We knew that there was, not everything was going to look perfect coming out the gate, right? And it just shows to the mental fortitude that this team has, the resilience that even with things being a work in progress, they're still making more positive plays than negative plays, especially in the biggest moments. And that's why we're 3-0 right now. This team does not shy away from the moment. St. Louis in the house. Got some Midwest. Love it. Real big pip, North Carolina. Got a sibling. My older sister is looking to move out there with her husband to Asheville, North Carolina. I was like, why don't you just move out here where we got mountains? And that would be great because I would love to have some family out here with me and Lex. But, that's just what it is right now. David, would you save a similar game plan against Oregon that CU had against TCU? Yes, in some respects. I do think that will involve the tight end more. I think Michael Harrison only had like a couple catches in that game. I do think you'll see us try and take advantage again of these of the advantage that CU should have in the box when it comes to these running plays, especially with Alton McCaskill. I would like to see that. Like I said on Big Dog and Dave, I want to see us come out, bring in some of those two-back sets that Sean Lewis used to run at Kent State, but do some different things with them. Dylan can go out there in the slot. We know that Alton McCaskill can catch too. So there's going to be some interesting things that we can do with motion, getting certain looks. I mean, if we can ensure that we can get a linebacker matched up on Dylan Edwards, it's over. It's over. So I think the other big key is coming out and playing with tempo, giving Shedeur easy throws from the get-go. The offense has been a little slow these past couple weeks. Against TCU, they're playing the short passing game really great. And it wasn't just screens. I know some people want to see the screen game get going more. That's fine. I understand that it can work a little bit like a run game, but I want to see, Shedeur hit some of these quick passers. If they're dropping 7-8 back deep, I would like to see him just identify Dylan Edwards out of the backfield as like his first or second read and just take what's given to him, because we've seen that the last couple of weeks where the running back coming out of the backfield has kind of been like that third, fourth, fifth read. And sometimes he doesn't have the ability to go through his progression that far once the pocket is collapsing. So it's very important to see that I want to see Shedeur getting the ball out of his hands early and often. And then that's going to that's going to open up the ability to run some of those plays that have longer developing routes or some option routes, which have some guys running deep. I think another guy that nobody else is really talking about this week, including myself, but I would love to see featured more is Tarvaris Dawson. Every time that he's been called on, man, he has had clutch hands. He's made big plays. And man, he is a darn good football player, and I would not be surprised if he's right up there with Xavier Weaver this week in terms of receiving production, because I think a lot of attention is going to be given to Jimmy, and a lot of it's going to be given to Xavier, and that's going to leave opportunities for our running backs, for Michael Harrison, for Javon Antonio, for Tarvaris Dawson. It's going to be fun to watch, see how they do it. King Chibo, good to see you. Who do you think will step up this week? David talks Buffs. Well, man, I want to get on one guy. Kendrick Breelove. I'm expecting a bounce back game for him. And, it can be hard, man. It's a lot easier said than done, coming in, being the relief pitcher for your star defensive player that's injured and leaves the game halfway through. That coming in, their offense is going to target you. And that's exactly what happened. And sure, it's easy to say, well, you need to be ready. Well, it's another thing with being called in as a relief pitcher versus, hey, now Kendrick Breelove has film to review. He has technique, that he knows he needs to work on this week, and he has a full week to prepare, knowing that he is going into this game being expected, to play at a starter level. And sometimes that can be just difficult, especially when you got your leader, one of your leaders or dogs, injured and knocked out of the game on a dirty play. Sometimes that can be hard to instantly come in there and just shut it down, So I'm expecting to see him have a bounce back game. Another guy that looks like he's on track to playing, which is great, which would be a huge addition for the secondary this week is Carter Stoutmeyer. True freshman. He's playing great. Dealing with an injury right now, but it's, kind of week to week, but it's looking like he should be good to go this week from what I'm hearing. Wonderful. We really need him back. He is you go look at his tape, playing 6A, Texas high school football. He's playing. He has played at the top of the top when it comes to high school talent. And now, it is just not shocking to see what he has done so far. I've already talked about the offense quite a bit. So let's get to another defensive player. Of course, you want to see Jawan Hawkins have a big game. I think Demoy Kennedy is going to be very important for one, spying Bo Nix, and two, just having that speed at the linebacker position to help stop some of these short, shallow crossers, because Oregon, they throw a lot of those things. A lot of what they do to succeed on offense has been some of the things that we've struggled with in the last couple weeks. On defense, and with the shallow crossers, with the read option, it's going to be really important for us to have stout gap discipline with stopping the run, stopping the read option, making Bo Nix a passer. And, talking to Sports Chat 503 earlier this week, big Oregon fan, we're going to do a recap on Sunday after the game too. So that'll be a lot of fun. But he was saying how Oregon's philosophy this year was, not to have Bo running as much. They want to keep him upright. They want to rely on his arm, and that's fine with me. Because if that's the case, if, we're holding their run game and then it just becomes a game of, who is going to have the better passing offense, Oregon or Colorado, I like that matchup between Shedeur and Bo Nix, because I just think, one, I think Shedeur is a better clutch player, and two, I think Shedeur is a smarter player and more risk-averse player. I don't think you'll see him turn over the ball as much this year as we'll see from Bo Nix. But man, Bo Nix is playing darn perfect football right now. But again, we're going to be his toughest challenge as well. And Tremaine, you hit on it here. Just what I just said. Shedeur does not force throws. Absolutely. If you're not open, he's not throwing you the ball. Yeah, even with his, man, it was such a bummer to see that interception happen against Colorado State. It was a tough throw and it was a little off target. Obviously, Jimmy had to jump for it, but I mean, it was still, he kind of leveled that ball in there really well. It was a really nice layered throw. Wasn't perfect, but it was still a nice throw. Just went off Jimmy's hands. Sometimes that happens. Can't blame all the interceptions on the quarterback, but I guess that one, it's like, maybe you give half to Shedeur for it being not a perfect ball, and then you give half of it for Jimmy. It's like it hits you in the hands, but who really cares? Alan Keith, thanks for tuning in. Let's see what you got to say. Coach Prime said in his press conference today that Cormani is not ready, so I don't expect to see him in this game. Yeah, yeah, that brings up a good point. I think whenever, again, he still has half the week to, perform to the level in practice where he might be deemed ready. So, I just, again, this coaching staff, they understand. They understand what's at stake in the long game, and guys progress and they grow at their own pace. I'm not going to freak out at all what's happening, and I would hope when you guys see those sorts of things on Twitter or whatever, you guys shut that down. Shut that down, man. We're talking about an 18-year-old kid moving away from home for the first time. He is Cormani McLean. He is not Travis Hunter. He is not Deion Sanders. He is his own person, and he'll be ready, man, when the time is right. I ain't stressing about it. Raw, I appreciate the love, man. That really means a lot. I'll have to check out your podcast. Larry coming in here. Can we not criticize Prime without hating? Coming from a fan. No, I mean, honestly, I think, man, like, there's just not a lot to criticize right now. I mean, I think, like, again, some of the things that, we know we got to clean up, with the team. I mean, he's been honest about it and said, like, we are not there yet. We're not there with the line play. We're not there with where the defense should be playing yet. We're not there with how we're running the ball yet. I think a lot of things too, like Coach Prime has been honest about this team. He came out here and said that he believes that they should be competing for wins, and that's exactly what we've seen. But he has also said that this is not this is not the end product. Like we said, this is just the baseline. I think when it comes to the game management that he has, and because again, as a head coach, you really have to manage the game well. He has done a great job at calling the timeouts when needed. In these games, he's done a great job of understanding late in the game, how you want to do certain things. Again, I think, and again, like things where you're opening yourself for criticism, like when you're taking the ball first in overtime. That was kind of the button that needed to be pressed, I think, with the result, having the offense, having had that rhythm figured out, the Colorado State defense, they put up the points. It also gave our defense a little bit more time to kind of catch their breath, to understand what's going on. Obviously, they didn't get the stop in the first overtime. And you could say, hey, Jay Norvell should have gone for 2 there. Absolutely. But I think you've seen Coach Prime overall make really good managerial decisions right now as a head coach. And I think if you're looking at this team from an honest perspective, while anything is possible, heck, we got people that watch this channel where their whole entire lives could change, if we win the national title this year. Inject that into my veins. Obviously, I want to see that happen. Who doesn't? But this roster is still a work in progress, and I don't think he has shied away from that at all. Like he said, we're still 7-8 dogs away from being a legitimate problem, like a problem that we're going to have no weakness to expose, So this is a 2-year plan, and this is a lot faster than pretty much any other rebuild we've seen happen. So, Yeah. But I think again on my channel, I give you my honest take. And I think like right now, it's very clear. I think we have a star head coach that knows the game. He's been coaching, for a long time too. And so this isn't one of those things like we've seen Nathaniel Hackett, for instance, last year in Denver, not having the experience, even though he was around his dad as a coach for years and years and years and grew up around the game. It's just clear he wasn't ready. We've seen that like Coach Prime he has been ready for this moment. And I think for that reason, there really isn't much to criticize. Like he's doing things his way and he's succeeding at it. So but I do think that you bring up a good point that just because we can be critical or question something, that doesn't mean that we're a hater. We all just have our own opinions. I think you're totally right about that. So I really appreciate you chiming in, Larry. But again, like we're all human. We all make mistakes, and you know, none of these stars over in Boulder, they're an exception to that. They're all human too, and it's just realizing that. We got to realize that. Brandon Gant, man, he could be a huge help, especially with getting this front seven to the level that it needs to get to. I really hope we see him this week along with Travis J. After talking with Big Dog and some of the other guys today, it seems like Travis J is a little less likely than Brandon Gant. Hopefully we can get both of them in there because having these reinforcements with our defense is going to be extremely, extremely helpful, and you will see an improved defense because of that. Nicholas Brasson coming in here saying, I actually like Omarion Cooper. Yeah, I forgot to mention him. He's been fantastic. He's been our other 1A, over at corner. And I think he can move into that, number one corner role with Travis out and perform very well. He's been stellar. McCaskill, ice cold. Yeah, he's going to be great. He's going to add a new dimension to this offense, and again, his vision. That's a really underrated quality about him. I'm going to be doing a film breakdown of looking at his Houston film that I have from a couple years ago, some all 22. Taking a look with my good friend John Cronenberg on Friday. That's going to be the plan. And just to remind us, man, what kind of caliber player Alt McCaskill is, because this is a big deal that we're getting him back here week 4. Tremaine coming in here saying this is an 85% passing team. Running backs like Smoke should not come to Colorado. I think like right now, yes, I think that it would make Shedeur's life a little bit easier, if we had a little bit more running game. And it would be nice to see Smoke get some looks at the goal line. Like for real. Some of those red zone drives against Nebraska. I'm trying to remember, where we're like throwing it. It's like first down on the 2-yard line. And it's like, good Lord, like, can we just hand it off and pound the rock in? He's a guy that I'd like to see do that. Alton's a guy that I'd like to see do that. But yeah, I think, overall, this offense is going to move best when the majority of the offense is running through its quarterback. And when you get Shedeur going, that's going to open up everything else. So I would like to see this team still primarily throwing the ball. I think that's their strength. Again, when you have a Heisman level guy right there behind center, you want to do that. But we do need to take some of the responsibility and pressure off of his shoulders doing that. So I would like to get that ratio down a little bit more in terms of run to pass. But as Nicholas is saying, as long as Shedeur is given time, they have a decent running game, so you will have a chance. Yes. And there's no way that this team gets blown out in any of these games this year. I think a lot of them are going to be very close and competitive. Again, we were getting blown out last year. This is this team is worlds away better than what we watched last year. Maestro coming in here. Speaking of suited up, can we chat uniforms for a sec? Oregon is known for their threads, and Deion is a dog with the variations as well. And yeah, now we're getting uniforms from Nike as well. And it's been cool to see Nike really step up and provide, the new uniforms for us every week. I think that's wonderful. And yeah, I think Oregon, they have paved the way in terms of this, and it's really great that we get to go up against them. They have built their program in a unique way, just like Colorado is now on the rise in a unique way that can't really be replicated. And it's going to be great to. I have a lot of respect for Oregon and how they've done things. Again, like they've been to a national title game or two, got blown out, but still, it's impressive to get there. And I think the uniforms from both schools are going to look amazing. And I think this is going to be a very competitive game. And then I can go and root for Oregon, the rest of the way. And as they go into the Big Ten, to definitely take care of business against, USC and UCLA quite often. That's what I'd want to see. So it's cool because Sports Chat was saying that too. He's going to be rooting for the Buffs, after this weekend ends. And, I feel the same for the Ducks. Want to see them succeed. I appreciate that, Maestro. You guys are awesome. Raw coming in here. We got to stop their running back, Bucky Irving, their wide receiver, Troy Franklin. They're pretty good players for Oregon. Yeah. And, it's been interesting because even throughout all those years with their big time offenses, they've never put a number one receiver, in the first round or whatever. You've seen a handful of their running backs go, but they're going to be locked and loaded. They're going to be ready to play. That environment there, it's going to be more challenging to play in there than I think it was in Fort Worth against TCU. And that makes me all the more excited, for this matchup, because I think, and what I'm expecting is that you will see this team rise to the occasion. These guys are dogs. They don't fold. And we have our toughest challenge ahead of us right now. This is a fantastic offense. Again, you can criticize who they've played, Portland State or Hawaii, but they did what you should have done. And that was put up 70, 80 points on these guys. So they're coming in here after a big win like that, feeling good, having, experienced that success. That confidence can translate over no matter who your opponent was previously, So I think what serves us well, though, is that we've played in two very tight games. We've battled adversity in all three of our games, and we've played a very quality non-conference schedule, which a lot of teams in the Power Five, soon to be Power Four, they don't do. And I think it's preparing us for these big moments that are coming up in conference play. And it's going to pay dividends. Charles coming in here saying, look at Joe Burrow's stats after week 3, his Heisman year, and look at Shedeur's and tell me what you see. Well, let me go take a look. Joe Burrow, LSU stats. We're going to do this together, y'all. Sports Reference. Okay. He won the Heisman in 2019, correct? So we're going to go check that out. All right, we're going to look at this together. Let me share my screen, y'all. Hey, 100 people in here. My goodness, man. I am just, I'm thrilled. Y'all be sure you hit that like and check in. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm trying to hide this comment. but my computer always slows down when I do this, so I might just have to read it for y'all. So I'm gonna read y'all the box score. Okay. So Joe Burrow, first game against Georgia Southern, 278, 85% completion, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Louisiana State, LSU against Texas, 471 yards on 80% completion, 4 touchdowns to 1 interception. Northwestern State, 373 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick on 87.5%. Man, that is just insane. So, man, then you're getting into conference play against Vanderbilt. I mean, these are just the completion percentages: 73, 71, 87, 78, 76, 79, 76, 82, 80 or 72, 74, 74. And then against Clemson in the championship game, 63. But man, he had, let's see, 5, 9, 11 touchdowns, and he put up another 49 in conference play with only 4 interceptions in conference play. So that is just insane. Let's take a look right now at Shedeur Sanders. Again, he only needs 28 passing touchdowns to break the school record. He only needs 3,201 yards to break the season passing yards record. But yeah, right now Shedeur, he 79% completion percentage, 1,200 yards, or 1,251 yards, 10 touchdowns to 1 pick. You're right, man. He's right there. That is for darn sure. And that's a great comparison right there, Charles. That is exciting stuff. And just like Joe Burrow elevated his game, into conference play, I think we all think that Shedeur's got another gear to go. That's for sure. Don Juan, these games are rolling around quick. It's basically Thursday already. Yeah. And is it just me, or has college football just overall been so much more fun to watch this year than the NFL? I know injuries still happen in the NFL, but the scoring has been down the last few years. The games just kind of move slower. And it just seems like all the stars are always getting hurt all the freaking time. I think they play too many games. I think NFL athletes, they overtrain, which leads to these injuries. Maybe they don't take enough contact in preseason and in training camp, which leads to a lot of, but dude, all these guys, I mean, I swear with the Denver Broncos, it's always been this thing the last 5 years. It's 20% of their team has hamstring injuries or these soft tissue injuries. And you just don't really hear much about that from the college game, and I think it helps with, the college game just feels so much more wide open, a lot more parity this year than maybe we've seen in years past. I mean, I have no idea who's going to make the college football playoff right now. And, we haven't always been able to say that's the case. Don Juan coming in here with a fact. UCLA is better than everyone thinks. And Dante Moore, man, he's the real deal. He is just like, this guy that we're hoping commits to us is, Bryce Underwood, a guy that can come in there, start day one as a true freshman. He is built like that. Chip Kelly has done a wonderful job resurrecting UCLA as well as his career, man. He's done a great job. And, I have the Buffs winning that game, but again, none of these games that we play outside of Stanford is going to be a cakewalk by no means. They got a squad. There's a reason they're ranked, and they're just getting started. I'm glad we don't have to see them in the Big 12. You're in. Got tickets to the UCLA game. That's going to be so much fun. And I got to say, I think you'll see Buffs Nation travel a lot better. Of course, Buffs Nation's gotten so much larger, as we're all kind of coming into the fold with everything going on. But I think the people who want to watch this team and want to watch the Buffs win, it's gonna travel, just like it seemed like we had a ton of fans at the TCU game. I'm not sure how many fans will get up to Oregon, but definitely getting out to a place like LA for a weekend, man, I love LA. I love LA. I wish I could get out there for that one. All right, guys, I'll go for like 10 more minutes here. So I'll try to get to your comment. If you want to ensure that I answer your comment, just send me a super chat. The hardest thing to build is O-line. They need more time together. Yeah, it's going to be better next year too. We pretty much got everybody returning except sy'veon, Washington. So it's going to be great. We're going to do even better in the portal than we did this past year, I think, with these results and the momentum that we're building. What life? Let's go. We got a Georgia Bulldogs fan in here. Man, I love it. I'm having Coach I on here tomorrow, who is a Georgia Bulldogs guy. So be sure to tune in for that because, there's a lot that I want to ask him about in terms of what are some of the similarities you're seeing with how CU is building things with, what Kirby Smart started doing, or what are some themes that you're seeing? Where do we have to go, to get to the level that Georgia is at right now? Obviously they're the Bulldogs are the gold standard, right now, and we're coming for it. We want to get there too. So big respect for the Bulldogs. They should be the favorite to win the national championship again this year, I would think. And I'm interested to see how Carson Beck plays, moving forward. Looked a little shaky. Well, I guess the whole Bulldogs did kind of against that first half against South Carolina, but what's a good marking of a championship team? They made the right adjustments. The defense didn't allow a point in the second half, and that offense, behind those dominant lines, they're able to ride that, to a great victory against South Carolina that should not be overlooked, because when you got those rivalry games, when you got those conference games going on, they can be, it's very rare that those games are blowouts. So congratulations to your Dogs, and hey, happy you're here enjoying the ride with what we got going on over here too. Everybody's welcome to enjoy this here in Buffs Nation. That is for sure. Do you think they should put a spy on Bo Nix? Yes and no. Could a spy kind of honestly help with us defending some of these shallow crossers? Because, you kind of have a guy up there closer to the line a little bit. It would at least help us tackle. So, I think it would make sense. I want to see Des Moines be that guy. Do you see a guy like maybe Cameron Silman Craig, playing that role a little bit? I think he could. It's going to be interesting to see how they use the star position this game. Maestro coming in here. I think Dylan can be a spark plug, yes. And I think taking a little bit of the responsibility off of his shoulders, especially as a true freshman, will be helpful. Having a guy like Alt McCaskill there as well, it's going to be great. We can keep him a little bit more fresh. And again, with McCaskill out there, run these two back sets, I think it's only going to be more advantageous for Dylan Edwards in the offense. The Waddy Way, good to see you. Always in here. So, and you bring up a good point. I think Shedeur almost sees stuff without the motion. And you're totally right. He's in the film room. Tom Brady's telling him he needs to be in the film room even more. You got to listen to the GOAT, but we know Shedeur does his homework, most definitely. And like he said against TCU, he's like, the coaching staff prepared me well. I felt like I knew what they were doing every single time. And we're preparing Shedeur in that way every week. That's for sure. MMA breakdown. Conditioning could be their weapon. I'd say put a high tempo on those big boys and wear them out. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord, we need to come out aggressive. We need to come out as the aggressors. Man, we've been coming back, against Colorado State. Obviously, we took the lead initially against TCU, but, that was a back and forth where we're always coming back. We're always having to respond. It would be amazing to get out to a little lead because then you see what we did with a lead against Nebraska. Then it was just that snowball effect. Am I right? So if we can get out to a lead, if we can get our guys feeling confident early, again, we're not coming into this game with any pressure on us. No, 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 no. We've been through the show, the last few weeks. And this is exactly what I knew would happen was even if we started 3-0, they were going to find reasons to doubt this team at an extreme amount. Again, an offensive 21-point underdog. These odds are the same as what they were going into the TCU game. No way. We're coming in with no pressure on us. All the pressure's on Oregon, man, to ball out, especially with a line like that of 21.5 points or whatever it is. And we should use conditioning as our weapon. We're going to be the better conditioned team. And we have shown that we're the better conditioned team in every fourth quarter this year. Shout out to Coach Mo. Tremaine Young saying, yeah, Bailey's good, but I'd like to see him gain 20 pounds. Yeah, he's a little light, and maybe we do a little bit more pulling of the tackles and in guards, and for that matter, the center this week. But I would like to see a guard combination of Jack Wilty and Landon Beebe there, with Van Wells in the middle. I thought Jack Wilty played great against TCU, and Landon Beebe, if he's not the biggest offensive lineman that we have, I think he's probably our biggest interior offensive lineman that we have. So I'd like to see him stay in there. I think Bailey's gotten pushed around a little bit. And so, yeah, I would like to see a little bit more shuffling. But again, I'm just a guy chilling here in his apartment talking Buffs. Smash that like button. It's free. Man, I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. David, who do you think we see more of, Javon Antonio or Omari Miller? Javon Antonio. He was out there against TCU. Again, we haven't seen him because of that injury, but he's ready to roll now. We're going to see more of him, and I think we will see him featured more. But I do think you'll see more Tarveris Dawson featured, over Javon Antonio. Dawson's just been clutch. He's made big plays. He has scored, he's already developed and showing that on-field rapport with Shedeur. And so I would say that our top three receiving guys or receivers going into this game are Xavier, Jimmy, and then Tarveris. That's for sure. But I do think Javon will get looks. But I do think having those guys out there of Dylan with Xavier, Jimmy, Tarveris, Michael Harrison, like that type of package right there. I'm probably missing another guy. So let's just throw in, Javon Antonio or whatever. I mean, that's going to be great. I'm not really putting too much expectation on any of the freshmen this year outside Dylan, man. That's really just it. Let's see here. Yes, Asheville is in the mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains. I still like the Flatirons and the Rockies just a little bit better, but the Blue Ridge Mountains are beautiful. That is for darn sure. But I don't think I could ever move out to Asheville because it's too far away from a major city. I like that I'm 20 minutes away from getting to a Nuggets game. I'm 20 minutes away from getting to campus for a Buffs game. Let's see what else y'all got. I'm going to wrap this up here in just a few minutes. Y'all need to just chill about Bree Love, man. One game. If I see it consistently, then maybe my tune will change. But um, I think overall the defense is going to be set up better. I think Charles Kelly will have again a defensive game plan that will factor in, um, Breedlove not coming in to play, the Travis Hunter role, but to play a Breedlove role. And so I think you'll just see some different things. I think you'll see him have a better game because of that. Let's see. Countdown timer. Special teams haven't been special. They've been more special than the TCU game, but you are right. We almost, well, I think we played mistake free ball against Nebraska, but again, having Jace Feely kind of kick that one that went off the foot wrong, that sucks. But overall, the biggest thing that I want to see and continue to see is for Jace Feely to kick that ball and kickoffs through the end zone. He's been kicking touchbacks. That is super important. We need that. Mata, Feely, whoever is kicking this week, I feel good about. They've both had their moments. They've both made their field goals when it's mattered the most. So I feel good about either one of them, which Coach Prime goes with. I love this kicker by committee. Mark Vassett, we would like to see him play a little bit higher level, in terms of consistency, but he's had some high level punts. He's going to get better from here on out. Again, I am worried right now about our kickoff return defense right now, which is why it's important to just kick that baby out of the end zone every single time. But we're getting there. I would love to see us break off a big return. We've had some nice returns, getting 15, 20 yards upfield. It would be nice to break a big one where you're really flipping the field position, a 40, 50 yard return, or you're taking one to the house. I love special teams, man, and we haven't shown our best yet. That's for sure. You're right. It's time for them to be special. And yeah, again, going up against a team like Oregon and really any team right now in the Pac 12, for the most part, we have to play clean football. We cannot. It's been great that we've seen ourselves overcome these mistakes and not lose confidence, but, show resilience to fight through that adversity. But we got to stop giving the other people or the other teams kind of mulligans. We got to stop giving them, extra ammo. Like, that's not cool. We got to play mistake-free football. We have to be locked in this week to take on Oregon. And again, that's why Oregon is favored going into this game. CU, we have, this hasn't looked like a well-oiled machine for 60 minutes for the entire team, So it's going to be up to us, to show that we can finally do that. We can put together a complete football game in all three phases of the game for 60 minutes. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. But again, it is nice to know that in a tight ball game, or if we need to overcome something that went wrong, we got the guys that have ice in their veins to get it right. And our defense has made turnovers at times in the red zone at big moments, and our offense has scored when they've needed to. Oregon is a classy team. I respect them more than suck than USC. That's what Jason says. Jason Watkins, SUC suck, but yeah, me too. Oregon's a classy team. And what I really respect about Oregon is that they haven't mimicked anybody to build up their program. They've done it their way, unashamedly. And I think that's something that I really respect. They've been themselves. David, do you think Tank will be an early round draft pick? 6'8", 320. I think he actually measures in at 6'10" the last time I saw. But regardless, basketball type player, power forward size, right? I don't know. I don't know right now if he's a top pick. I should ask Bill Carroll about that next time. Maybe we just focus on some of those guys, like the seniors, because Bill would know, being involved in scouting, for 30, 40 years. CU's going to travel out there Friday morning. I don't love that, but I think it's always kind of nice to get there, a couple nights before, but I understand getting there early Friday, then you're only there one sleep. You're only in the hotel one night. That's nice. And we're not, playing at altitude or anything like that. We don't have to deal with that since we live in altitude. Man, I'd like to see Leonard Payne step up, man. He had a great field goal block this past week, and I'd love to see him get to the passer a little bit this week. Jonas, good to see you. I find it funny how in preseason everybody was like, we had one of the hardest schedules. Now all of a sudden we haven't played anybody good, comical. Yeah, man, it's just I'm trying to think, like, should I say this? Probably not. No, I'm not going to say it, but I will say this. This season with how this team has performed, it has, it shows you like what really motivates people, like criticizing this team or whatever. Why the hell are you moving the goalposts? Like, I've been saying this whole time, like coming in here, since I started this channel in February, like an A+ year for this team where I'm like, build a gold statue for Coach Prime is if we win a bowl game, our first bowl game in 20 years. That is me coming here as a CU fan, somebody who went to CU. We haven't won a bowl game since Joel Klatt was quarterback. Okay. To get that done, it would be insanity. But now that we've come out to this hot start, people are wanting to say, now it's changed to, well, hey, you guys suck, to, well, now you guys aren't good enough. No, man, stop moving the goalposts. Now, going into conference play, we've taken care of business. In these first 3 weeks, we're playing with bonus points from here on out. This team can play loose from here on out. Absolutely, they can play loose because we got nothing to lose, man. We have everything to gain, and we're going to get to that bowl game. We're going to get our first win, no doubt, in 20 years. And this is just the beginning, man. So I think it's funny, too, how people want to move the goalposts. Or like I've said, now people, instead of telling me, like, hey, CU's going to suck again this year, it's, well, don't get your hopes up or don't enjoy it too much because he's going to be gone. Even if Coach Prime were to leave, no. We know at my channel, we enjoy every single moment of this, man. And, do I think that it has the potential, to last a long time? Yeah. Do I understand, people coming out thinking that this thing might just be a few years, whatever? Yeah, I can understand that. Do I think that's going to be the case? No. I think Coach Prime wants to build a legacy for himself, and it doesn't happen with, being the guy to follow in Nick Saban's footsteps. What the hell? No. If anything, for him to go to a program like Alabama, like, you want to be the guy who replaces the guy. You don't want to. Coach Prime doesn't, he doesn't want to deal with that BS of following in a guy's shadow. Like, he's creating his own shadow. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's his own guy. Like, I think he's got the potential to build something, to build a legacy out here. And I just think it's funny, man. Like, last year we're criticized for being so crappy, so terrible. Now we try to be good and get good. And then people are saying, well, you're not good enough, or it's not going to last. It's like, there's always going to be something to hate on this team. And especially because it's Coach Prime, because there are some people in this world, that's just how it is. There's just some people in this world that don't want to see a black man be the top dog in their field. They don't want to see Coach Prime as the top college football coach here in this next era of college football. Some people just don't want to see that. So, So the Coach Prime's always going to have haters, and we all know that. But I think the majority of people, this is really getting some people into college sports, college football, even football for that matter, for the first time. It's a beautiful thing. I think Coach Prime is bringing so many more people together than it creating division, and that's the beauty of sports, really. It just brings people together. I mean, look at all the people that I've gotten to meet, all of you guys in the comments, all the people that I've had on my show over the last, 7 months. So many different people from different, backgrounds, perspectives, life experiences. It's just an amazing thing. And I think that's why I just really love what's going on here. It's bringing a lot of people together, and it's getting us talking to each other. It's getting us listening to each other. We got enough going on in the world where there's fighting, where there's division. I mean, hell, get ready for another election cycle next year. I mean, it's about to be back at it. But sports is one of those things that I've always loved, because it's it's a way for us to really come together in a really unique way and learn from each other. And I think that's really important. And I think a lot of us we're learning from this. I know I am. I know I'm learning a lot. So with that being said, man, I just love doing this. You guys are so great. I want to hit on this comment here. Giggity, always appreciate you chiming in. Said I heard today Trevor Woods may be playing up near linebacker. That would be great. He would be an interesting spy. That is for sure. So hopefully we throw some new looks. Hawkins, I appreciate you checking in as always. Let's get those likes up absolutely on the way out. I appreciate you guys as always. I mean, freaking Prime Sports Media. Looking to talk with him tomorrow, so that's going to be great. And man, this is just it's all good vibes here, guys. Like, this is all, yes, sports is serious, but let's just take time to, just really enjoy it. And that's what this whole channel has really helped me do, is just enjoy the moment better. So be sure to check in tomorrow. I got a handful of people that I'm talking with. Global Utopia Sports, we're starting off with in the morning. That's going to be a heck of a time. He's a new YouTuber that I've had on, that I want to have on here. And he's got really good content and only a few followers, man. But this guy knows his stuff. He's meant for this type of thing. And I'm really glad to be giving him an opportunity to come on this show and show you guys what he's all about. Again, Prime Sports Media tomorrow evening. That's going to be a big deal. That's going to be great. And then I'm going to be collaborating with Jason Watkins over on his channel, Hall of Fame Media, later in the afternoon. And then Coach I, big Georgia Bulldogs fan, going to come on here at 5, and we're going to talk about how the Buffs can eventually get to being the diamond standard one day, like the Georgia Bulldogs are in college football right now. So thank you guys again so much. I appreciate you as always. Be sure to hit the comments if you're watching this on the replay, and that like. I'll see you tomorrow. And as always, Go Buffs.